All right, here we are in the winner's bracket final of the Alpha Navigators Cup weekly number 23, starring in your blue Infernal MSRM and his opponent in the red Infernal Snoxtar. Both of them giving the GLHF and sending out their units. And we have Hexens in the middle. We got Hexen on Hexen violence already. Both of them taking some shots. MSRM scooting by, trying to get ahead. What was he shooting? Oh, he ate a cabbage. Also a cabbage eaten up here as well. Both of them stealing some cabbages. So already early cabbage aggression. We got a lumberjack imp here. Chopped down some trees and then became a farm. And we have a conclave on the high ground. Vault on the low ground. So conclave first out of MSRM. And we have a hokey poke. Oh, and there's more Hexen on Hexen damage. Get her. Get her. But she gets out of there. Also dancing her way home. So far, little aggression between the scout units. But nothing. Oh, please, bug. Please fix that old bug. Okay, so we now got creeping, but slightly different style. Snoxtar opening with the vault first has a brute with him. And we've got high ground creeping from MSRM with his gaunts. A little less micro intensive here. In fact, creeping with Grunts tends to be a little less micro-intensive than creeping with your Brute. But we saw that Snoxtar favored this Brute creeping strategy because he ends up with a bunch of Fiends like he's got here. And great Fiend micro to, leave one behind and heal it up a bit before heading out. And he's already got units creeping over here. Wow, I love this. He must have, practiced this creeping strategy out. So he's now got his full force together with lightning legs already moving up here. And the same force from MSRM is they're going to clash here over this camp. Speedy legs worn down for Snoxtar. MSRM trying to get his Fiends around back there to try and get on top. But not quite. Snoxtar able to micro them away. And we had Fiend on Fiend there. Got a skull going out, impacting on the Hexen. And it looks like most of the Fiend and Brute force of Snoxtar's cleaned up. And not sure why he sent that Fiend in. Of course, to aggro these units, but it didn't really gain him much. Oh, maybe it did. He's bringing in his Brute here, getting in from behind, and maybe trying to snipe this after the Shadow Demon's got, it looked like maybe a Fiend and a Gaunt there. Not clear who got the final kill there. Looked kind of like Snoxtar to me, but not certain on that. And now it's Gaunts and Brutes, and the numbers look almost identical to me. We got 7 versus 6 Gaunts. So MSRM slightly ahead in the Gaunt count. And what about the research? No Plague Axe for either of them. So this is just DPS on DPS. Actually, where did that infest come from? It must have been a skull. I saw infest on one of the gaunts. It's not coming out of these plague axes. Now we have plague axes down for Snoxtar, actually. And we see the infest on all of those units. And MSRM knows that means that there's a plague axe advantage and he has to retreat. Fiends popping up. Oh, no. Those gaunts, unfortunately, can they get away long enough so the infest is no longer on them? And it does, so no new Fiends pop out as they die. But more infest going down as an effigy is cast by Snoxtar. So it looked like MSRM had the advantage there until those Plague Axes dropped. Now, has his own Plague Axes dropped yet? No. So this skirmish continues with Plague Axes on the advantage for Snoxtar, although there's no Shroud here yet. Unfortunately, as soon as this goes up, it's going to be in MSRM's disadvantage. Still no Plague Axe. Does he have a Ritual Chamber? I don't even see a Ritual Chamber. So this is definitely not going to go well for MSRM. He has to find something magical if he's going to push this back. There's something magical. Summon Shroudstone. And Snoxtar decides to get aggressive with his army. And there's something magical too. And a Magmadon pops out. Those Fiends trying to get on top of the Gaunt and the Hexen. And indeed they do. They clean it up. But now they are cornered themselves in the back, being zoned away by a trampling Magmadon, and they turn to fight their Fiends getting on top of those Gaunts and getting more Fiends. So actually this is somehow working out for Snoxtar. His Fiends on top of these Imps now. One Gaunt infesting a lot of them. That's all you really need is one Gaunt for the infest, and if the Imp or the Fiends can do the damage, they're going to spawn more. And managing to keep that one Gaunt alive. Another Gaunt showing up. This trample going down again. Now we see the Gaunts finally dying, and the Fiends just trying to get away from the trample because it's so deadly to them. But now they've turned, and while they were fighting the Brute and the Mag, that didn't look very good for the Fiends. They're really just trying to be microed around. And do we have a GG out of Snoxtar, actually? Alright, here we are in game 2 with Snoxtar taking... Oh, actually, Snoxtar did not take the lead in that one. He gave up at the end. It was msrm taking the lead in game 1. And Snoxtar with his all-end failing at the end. So let's see what happens here. Probably some early aggression. Sending these hexes across the map just to shoot magical zots at each other. But do they know? They walk past each other in the night, not even seeing each other. I don't think they spotted each other. So today, the Hexen violence will be silenced, I guess. Hexen silence. But what are they going to spot? Taking different routes into the base. Slightly different. Snoxtar going here, seeing a vault. Seeing nothing else, but seeing a couple Imps. That means there's probably a Conclave coming out if you haven't seen it. You did not see it. But getting home, trying to get some shots off. And pretty much the same thing we saw from him last game. Opening with the vault, grabbing the Brute to do the creeping. And actually, that's what msrm has done as well. Gone Vault first instead of Conclave first. So, very interesting change. I'll be honest, I'm still thinking about that last game. Snoxtar had the Plague Axe advantage, but because he was on one base, I think he lost that all in. Decided to GG at the end. So we'll see what's going to happen this game. We see a very fast Ritual Chamber out of Snoxtar again. Maybe he's going for that same build and hopefully just trying to close it out. And msrm, no Ritual Chamber yet. Instead, looks like going for that natural. More Gaunts being pumped. And this is the divergence between these two as well, I think. Actually, we do see more Gaunts being pumped for Snoxtar. I thought he might try and save that Therium up for his Plague Axes. Although, knowing Snoxtar, he probably has this build, worked out to the minutia that he knows exactly how many Gaunts he can get given his Therium income and such. Wisely maybe choosing to back away here, seeing those Fiends trying to get on top of his Gaunts. And now they're kind of just fighting over that. Again, not clear who got it, but fighting over that Shadow Demon, wanting the Shadow Demon to aggro on each other's units, hopefully. Get to just that little extra DPS. And we do see Snoxtar pushing back msrm. And does he have the Plague Axes yet? No. So I'm like, it was super early, but it's not up yet. He did get a couple good Skull of Shedda hits on there, which managed to mean that he could pop a few Fiends out, which is just always an advantage when you're chasing down an army like this. The Brute turns to fight. I like that, but Snoxtar does not take the bait. Actually, he does turn to take it out. The idea behind that is you sacrifice that one unit in hope that the other units are going to get away. And indeed, the Gaunts managed to get away. They're now soaking in the healing juices of the healing camp. And these Gaunts of Snoxtar, I don't know if I like that positioning. It's low surface area. It's easy to get trapped in there. There's only a couple Fiends here, but Snoxtar's got the advantage with the Plague Axes again. He's forced those Gaunts to run away at the top. Will he get it before the infest? Yes, so another Fiend popping out and deciding, okay, I'm going to go in and steal your healing camp here. well, I can take out maybe some of your buildings, in this case a farm, which is wise thing to target. It might supply block MSRM, although he had taken a lot of army losses, so it's less likely that he would supply block. A brute showing up on the low ground, fighting some of these gaunts that were rallying down there, hoping for a time to re-engage, and now we just have a ton of fiends getting on top of them, and that's a GG out of MSRM. Okay, back at it in game 3 now. MSRM spawning in the blue on the bottom left here of Broken or Secluded Grove, sorry, with a vault opening, and his opponent Snoxtar in the red Infernal this time, also with a vault opening but on the low ground. And again, it looks like the Hexens are not going to be able to take pot shots at each other as they march across the map. They're going different routes. They don't want to face each other. Although, interestingly, they both are cutting across here. Ah, yes, because they both want to steal cabbages from the other one. It's very interesting meta. I'm starting to wonder what the value of those cabbages on the map are anymore. That's me being a little bit of my wine. I don't like them. So I kind of wish they were taken off the map. But that's basically the idea behind this meta too, I guess, is if I take it away from you, you cannot use it, and then therefore it's not an advantage to you, and it's not an advantage to me either. Interesting, I see it looks like some imps here got pulled off of Ethereum there. I was curious. I wonder what that was about. 10 Ethereum? Maybe it was just a change of mind or a misrally. Yeah, it looks like he's opted, Snoxtar that is, has opted to go for an Expo this time instead. Wonder why. Wonder why. Maybe because MSRM scouted a particular build, maybe scouted the imps on Ethereum and deciding, hey, you think I'm going to go for a conclave here? I'm instead going to go for an expo. Now, MSRM does have the conclave, and he does have imps on Ethereum. I noticed that imps went back on Ethereum for Snoxtar. In fact, a lot. It looks like he's rallied over that. He's only got 7 on Luminite. Now, what could that be about? I imagine that could be for a... Yes, there we go. Greater Shrine on the way. Now, let's see what he does with that. Because it's rare that you're going to want to leave all those guys, all those imps on Ethereum. Because you're going to have so much Ethereum income now. What do we have there? A conclave. So now there's a conclave going down. But yeah, that Ethereum income is too high at the moment. There's, you know, nothing to spend it on. There's no, you can't even put down a ritual chamber for another 30 seconds. But Snoxtar has left his imps up there, so we'll see what that's for. Maybe he's just trying to get a bank of Ethereum to spam out a bunch of gaunts. It's not clear. Not clear. Meanwhile, MSRM has actually reduced his number of imps. Actually, okay, it said 2, but there was really 3. And that's just because the Observer UI has a couple of hiccups that if you don't actually select a building of the player, I don't think it updates those counts for you. If I select this one, it might update it for me. Still 6 here. And we're seeing that that means that Snoxtar is starting to accumulate a lot. And we now have some aggression from MSRM. Now remember, he did the Vault Conclave. So he has more units here. But this is what Snoxtar was going for. He's got that tier 2 already. He's got a Meg already out. He's got a Manifest Shroudstone. You're going to have to head home. I've got... this is the defense I want to make. Now, yeah, don't overextend your Meg there. He's pretty buff and pretty tough, but not out on the map all by himself with his slow marching ability. So what that means is MSRM might be able to go for a little map control here, and I think that's what his strategy is. Or maybe he's regrouping to repush again. That Meg is still there, ready to zone. His trample is certainly off cooldown now, so he's threatening. and there's a small Gaunt Force behind that. So I knew Snoxtar had a plan with his Ethereum there, and it was to get this Meg out early. And amazingly well done. Killing off some fiends there, clearing some trees too. Trees are the real enemies in this game. Knock them all down. And msrm's units retreating back home, I guess, deciding that Meg is a strong enough defender, plus that Shroudstone that came down, and again, it's just going to be, you know, a little bit of time before he's got enough Animus for another one. So, back to creeping, it looks like. And like I said, maybe map control is more what msrm could get out of this. He's got more units, and Snoxtar really has to keep that Meg and his units back home in case there's pressure. But what is he using here? Skulls. Very, very wise. An imp and a skull out to take back those towers so that they, the map control can, you know, be recaptured so that he has a little vision out on the map. And now this imp, waiting for him to sacrifice himself to turn into a shrine. But Snoxtar getting a little aggressive with his eco, saying, I'm going right into the middle of the map. And these fiends, ooh, this is just wise. I don't know how he knew how to go in there, but yeah, I don't think he could see it with the vision of his tower. But that's probably just a lot of msrm experience playing against Snoxtar, knowing that that's a likely thing he might be doing with this build and going to scout it out. So that's just having player knowledge about your opponent when you've matched up with them a lot. Maybe you practice with them and such. An interesting team creeping session here. But the Meg saying, let me stomp you away a bit. And then trying to get back on top of that Shroud so he can get the white health regen started. And it looks like Snoxtar's Meg is a hero Meg. You may have seen the instant regen of the white health, the Shroud skin there. And that's because the Magmadon chomped down on one of those fiends, ate a fiend. And if you eat a fiend, you get full white health. Now, there's sort of separated units here, but whose favors are going to be? It's hard to see who's getting the concave and the surround here. Both units are kind of flanking the others, but it looks like maybe msrm is getting the advantage, and I maybe spoke too soon as even more units show up for Snoxtar, and it's just a ton of fiends, and that is not great for these gods. They cannot run away, and there's just more infest going down on them. It looks like this is going to be a small little fiend ball showing up for Snoxtar. He has not tried to retake the center, instead taking a safer third over here. And msrm opting for this third instead. The units of Snoxtar searching for a third, but going to the wrong location, not finding the appropriate one. And looks like as the camps have respawned, it's time for the units, or for the players, to get back to maybe just doing a little creeping so they can get that map control again, get that vision on the map. So both of them take out their vision camp. msrm has added a mag now, and that mag, it looked like was tanking for the Shadow Demons. He's lost a lot of health, but ate a cabbage. And creeping the health camp too. So finally it looks like we're getting into a slightly longer game between these two, as both of them have managed to make tier 2 units. On to third base, actually a fourth base is now up for Snoxtar. If I could click on it. And his unit's moving out here. This is often a place where you're going to be aggressive against this third by knocking down these trees. And indeed, that's what we see here. The Meg marching his way in. And a ton of fiends running in as well. But the imps retreating away. And instead, it looks like the shrine's going to get focus fire down. a Manafish Shroudstone just before the shrine disappears. And now it's just a toe-to-toe battle. With Snoxtar's got 2 mags in here and some weavers. The mag of MSRM went down. And there's just a bunch of gaunts in the background. Now, some of Snoxtar's gaunts are focused firing those farms in the back. And that's not going to be DPS that's going to the units. Nonetheless, it looks like MSR is being pushed away. And that's going to be a GG out of MSRM. And a winner's bracket win for Snoxtar.